Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird in New York City. Miles Red Bird Song. Looking at a picture of Michael Bublé. And he is Adam, first entity. And he was Sinatra and projection of Michael Jackson, Sam Cooke, and so many others. So, let me continue with part 4, Mr. and Mrs. Jesus Christ. Michael Bublé is a projection of Jesus Christ also. I want to tell you, mention clues to you. I want to tell you what my and Adam's son, Abel, did for me. When I was 9 or 10 years old swimming underwater, I couldn't swim with my head out of water because my half-sister Helen mocked me every time I tried to swim with my head above water, as though I was failing at swimming and was just looking stupid or silly. So I stopped trying to swim above water. This day I became tired while swimming underwater. I stopped swimming in the middle of the pool. The next thing I knew was I was being pulled out of the water by the lifeguard, William Earl Dixon, a diver of such grace and expertise that he appeared to be as good as any Olympian. And that's because he was William Earl Dixon, Burt High School of Clarksville, Tennessee, an Olympian, Michael Phelps, champion swimmer, who has won the most medals of any Olympian, my son Abel. Okay, that's who Michael Phelps is, Eve and Adam's son, Abel. He saved his mother's life because I was drowning. I didn't care. I had lost my reason to live when I was 4 years old and my mother told me she had tried to kill me. She didn't want me, abort me. And so I had no reason to live. If your mother doesn't want you, isn't that why you live, for your parents? So if they don't want you, if they want you to die, so you die, you see. So all my life I was trying to commit suicide, trying to figure out, am I supposed to live, am I supposed to die? Was I bad not to die? Anyway, let me continue. While killer moms were getting legal permission in 1973 to kill their sons and daughters, my son Singh Birdsong, projection of my husband, first century Jesus Christ, Charan Singh, my personal spiritual guide, 20th century. Incognito Jesus Christ was born. When he grew up, he saved my life. In other words, my son born in 1973, when he grew up, saved my life. These women in 1973 killed their sons. So when that son, there was no growing up and doing anything heroic. They didn't exist. Okay, so some enemy voices in my head were telling me why I had no right to life. My mother had tried to abort me in 1945. She gave up frightened because let's see if I can turn this page. Because her ears began to ring like dinner bells, as she described the sound to me when I was 4 years old. This was a disadvantage of having a young, inexperienced mother. She had no clue as to what was appropriate to say to her child. She was 16 when I was born. She was married, but she was 16. She had slept with the town god, Reverend Dr. William Daniel, who had been Daniel in the lion's den. And Mama was deeply ashamed. Scorpio, she kept a secret. She was deeply ashamed of this adult of adultery in severe pain. Oh, she also kept the secret that she was in severe pain the last 5 years of her life. She bore the pain in secret. My mother was so beautiful. She was sought after by colored and white men. Corbett Baggett, a white man who owned a car dealership, wanted to marry my mother to take her away from the Democratic Party segregated South. She said no. One of the colored doctors from Nashville, Tennessee, Dr. Van Buren, wanted her to marry his son. The doctor begged my mother to marry him, his son. The son died several months later. My mother gave the impression that she thought she should have married him because she would only have had to endure him for a few months. She tried to get me to marry a rich guy. She said, "You can fall in love with a rich man." Was she admitting she had fallen in love with a rich married Dr. Daniel, my father? Just like you can a poor man, she counseled. I didn't want an unequal marriage. I didn't want some rich dude lording it over me that I was eating food he bought. Mainstream includes you. Sing at the beach. That's my son at the beach. That's my son with his father, Edwin Birdsong. And what is this? I think that's a motorcycle, isn't it? He's riding on a motorcycle. I think so. I know this is there because you can see the line in the highway and his dials. And this is him looking like Jimi Hendrix. He was Jimi Hendrix in a past life. And this is singing a hat. He looks cool, right? Sing driving his motorcycle. In case Sing wonders how in hell he's doing something as risky as driving a motorcycle from New York City to Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles. It's because it's a pattern. When he was Wilbur Wright, he and his brother built a plane and flew it in the air. It is very dangerous to fly without wings. I flew for 2 years for American Airlines, and during that time, let me find my place. I experienced 2, what's that? Emergencies, yes. And near miss. I was sitting in the cockpit when a plane came right at us. Thank God the captain dropped down to a lower altitude quickly. But he told me, "You can tell people you just experienced a near miss." I had so many brushes with death, you'd think I was fighting a war. 3 suicide attempts. Men have saved me from myself 3 times. My sons twice. And an old boyfriend, Billy Hugh Spinks, a cop from Chicago, called the New York City cops and had them come to my apartment and drive me to Bellevue, where they pumped my stomach after I'd taken a bottle of sleeping pills. When my mother said when I was 4 that she had wanted me dead in her womb, a part of me, my mind, thought I should have died when she wanted me to. She was my mother, the mother God put in charge of me. After my first husband died, a couple months ago, I was kind of disappearing. Govinda Singh, Jesus Christ, my husband and constant companion, in my ear, available on demand, said to me, "I don't want you to die." He said it on another occasion when I was fading. Plus, my father said I'm his star. Someone said a star is the sun. So my son, S-U-N, told me I'm his S-U-N, son. I'm actually his daughter. At times, I'm incredulous that I'm the life-giver's son, S-U-N. That's an enormous responsibility. I cannot burn out. If I burn out, the sun burns out. I have uncovered the last, that Eve is the energy. The last what? The last secret? I have uncovered the last something. That Eve is the energy of the earth. Adam is the will. Yeah, the men have the will. I'm sure of that. So without energy, without will, nothing's happening. So I must continue to live so the flow of energy continues. More responsibility. I have Saturn in my fifth house of happiness. I keep dropping this phone. And Saturn is the planet of discipline. The fifth house is the house of creative self-expression. That's what I'm talking about, my horoscope. My horoscope also said the most amazing interpretation. It said your soul was made to dilate in unison with the universe. To dilate means to expand or enlarge. Oh my God, I haven't slept. Maybe that's why I'm doing this. Synonym for that is madriasis. Let's decode that word. I never heard of that before. Mild red eye doctor pleasure as is the moment. I was Freud, father of psychoanalysis. I was Fritz Perls, who taught to live in the moment. The moment is reality. I created Talk and Share, how you ask questions to remove blocks to one's ability to be in the moment. With Jesus Christ's help, I created Talk and Share. Let's not forget that part. Charan Singh, Jesus Christ was my husband and psychologist. Govinda Singh, Jesus Christ, 21st century form of Jesus Christ, my husband and psychologist. Charan Singh is Giancarlo Arturo, the boy baby in my womb. My first husband, Edwin Birdsong, as soon as he evens the score with me, wants to enter our daughter Robin Birdsong's womb to take a new birth. I should say that Robin Birdsong studied Jungian psychology. Edwin thought I should set Talk and Share method of being in heaven. Being in the moment is as being in heaven. Stevie Wonder is almost always in the moment, but as he admitted, being blind, he has no choice. So having no choice is never good. I like the freedom of choice. He can't risk floating like a butterfly, like an animal. Stevie has to always stay alert, to always keeping his ear open to see what is going on, because he can't see what is going on with his eyes. Event. This is Stevie, and he was Judas, he was Nero, and he was Hitler. The event is Edwin Birdsong's funeral. This is Robin Birdsong, who was the Empress of India, Queen Victoria, Galileo, father of science, Michelangelo, painter of the eighth wonder of the world, the Sistine Chapel. She was Voltaire, the author, St. Francis of Assisi, she was Dr. Spock. Was that his name? Benjamin Spock. Yeah, that was her. She was Sister Doni Wright, wife of Projection of Jesus Christ, Charan Singh. Sister Wright, missionary of Church of God. And other mother of Eve, daughter of Eve, now married the Michelle Birdsong and Edwin Birdsong. Edwin Birdsong was Bach. Owen Benjamin did a video the other day, Happy Birthday Bach. Irving Berlin, Edwin Birdsong was Irving Berlin, and he was a painter. Marc Chagall, and he was Mr. Spock. Robin was Dr. Spock, and her father was Mr. Spock. See, there's no such thing as a coincidence. All these dots connect. Okay, let's see what we got up here with Judas. Stevie was so overcome with grief at Edwin's funeral, he had to leave the room 3 times, and his voice broke up as he sang the 2 songs that he sang that day. One of the songs Steve sang was Ours. Okay, Robin, more about Robin's props. Robin Birdsong is the author of the children's book, Sneezy the Greasy Babysits Abigail. Concept and title for the book, Michelle Birdsong. Illustrations by T.J. Robshaw. Abigail likeness was taken from a photo of Jindara Ranziger, the Michelle's granddaughter. Jindara's mother, Melanie Lynn Spear, was the explorer Christopher Columbus. She was St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, and the patron saint of the poor. Melanie Lynn Spear was Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt, the goddess Isis. Vincent van Gogh. She was a cartoonist. On the YouTube video at Michelle Birdsong YouTube channel, Sneezy. The best family-friendly video on YouTube, and it's quite short. The engineer for that video was Sing Birdsong. The vocals were Lyric Wonder, Stevie Wonder's other daughter, Sarita Wright's daughter, Stevie Wonder's first wife. The song is a Mr. Rogers song. Mr. Rogers called It's You I Like. Mr. Rogers of Seth Wynn Ranziger, my grandson, Melanie Lynn Spear's son. This is a picture of the cover of Sneezy the Greasy Babysits Abigail by Robin Birdsong. Concept and title by Michelle Birdsong. And this is Abigail, like I said. That's Jindara Ranziger. Illustrations, T.J. Robshaw. This is, what do we got here? The Rubik _HD Sneezy. The Greasy Babysits Abigail. This is a YouTube video. It is so cute. Will Smith, Adam and Eve's son Seth, solves the Rubik's Cube in the hit movie Pursuit of Happiness. Like I said, there's no such thing as a coincidence, you see. Because, this is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reborn as my grandson, Lou Ranziger. Mr. Rogers, Sami G, great saint of Agua, Seth Wynn Ranziger. That's Mr. Rogers, my grandson. And this is Tonto, Lone Ranger and Tonto. Her mother was the Lone Ranger, Rochelle Llewellyn. This is Fallon. She's in the video Sneezy. So is Seth. So is Dr. King. There's Fallon and Jindara. So is Jindara. The girls love Sneezy the Greasy. This is on YouTube. This is a video. This is all you have to type in here. That's little kids about 12 years old, if they're that old.